All right, 8:26. Those kids were really good.
They were.
They did a great job. In studio right now is Trooper Jack Keeler. A lot of things, a lot of issues going on out there right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
So, good. Let's start with this, what happened with the Amber Alert.
Yes.
And that case. That started, something was going on, and then it ended up in family court, and then...
Our involvement really comes into play on Friday when Chief Petrie requested our assistance.
Yeah.
In regards to, they have a female mother with their two child were missing, and they've been missing since Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to a point where he requested our assistance. So after we get involved, it turns out that we've learned some information that is critical in figuring out, is this an Amber Alert? We realize it's a custodial issue, but still, we believe that there was some imminent danger to the children, which is why the alert was issued.
Got it. And ultimately, she turned herself in, right?
We believe, and after talking to the family members, she did hear the Amber Alert, which was critical, and that really was why we have the alert to begin with, certainly. And I believe she wanted to let us know that she was okay, and also were the children. So I think after a while, they maybe the parents, we're not too sure how it gets evolved, but at this point we find out that a family member wants to get the kids out of there, making sure that we know that they're safe, and that's what happens.
So, and it's a very difficult, and you guys must deal with this all the time.
Sure.
When dealing with children and a decision in family court, it's very difficult for a parent to accept it. They almost feel like these are our kids.
Sure.
Yet now in this, it seems like you had family members that were extremely concerned.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with high emotions.
You definitely are.
Yeah.
And that's something that when we get together with law enforcement, when you have with Chief Petrie and his staff, that's their number one concern. They want to bring us in so we can look for these two children and the mother. And with the FBI's assistance and the district attorney showed up on the scene also. So we had all the resources we needed. And I think that the outcome is really what we wanted, and it was perfect.
Why does something? I know you said you weren't called to be involved till Friday, but if the children were thought to be missing on Tuesday, why was the delay in issuing the Amber Alert that everyone's phone went off and it was everywhere?
For an Amber Alert to be issued, you have to reach what they call a threshold. We have to make sure that the children are in imminent danger. What we learned is there were some text messages sent that were an indication to us that we were very concerned about what the children may be, the mother, and it came to light that we believe that it reached that critical incident where we had to put that alert out, and it worked perfectly.
Can you clarify something as well? You just said the mother became aware of the Amber Alert, and then she wanted to let everyone know that she was okay. That Amber Alert, she was being sought, or there was a question about her safety?
This was after the alert went out. I think a lot of people even talked to us yesterday that said they were even at the hockey game at the Utica there, and everybody's alert went off at the same time. So I think it alerts, and that's the whole idea of it. But after I think she knew that it was this serious, that we are looking for her and the two kids, that she called 911 and let them know, and that's how we indicated to us that she was safe and that we were looking for them, and then eventually bring the two kids to safety.
How about the technology? The fact that everybody has a cell phone now, and like you're saying, at the odd where everybody's going off at the same time. It's really an awesome tool.
It is, and I think that's exactly the idea behind it.
Yeah.
You don't get anybody to argue or get upset about what's happening. They want to find out, and what's nice is even the variable messaging signs on the thruway, on the highways. You're going to see check local news. So sometimes we don't have the information all together at that point specifically. So we ask them to check news such as your show and make sure that you're aware of what the latest information is.
Andrew.
I have to share, I was telling Trooper Jack how this just before the break is I was doing a training ride. I'm doing the Ride for Missing Children this year, and we were on a training ride, and people who had brought their phones along, we were at a stop, and they had all said, "Oh my gosh, we just got an Amber Alert," and it was kind of an eerie thing to kind of happen.
Considering you're
on a training ride for this.
For the Ride for Missing Children.
It really does draw your attention.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't see it maybe as often as maybe sometimes other times, custodial issues, but it has to reach that threshold where we believe it's imminent danger.
Yeah.
We believe there might have been.
All right. And I know we asked this of you last week on the issue of the Frankfurt mayor. Anything new on that case, or the signs that were allegedly stolen and taken to the village.
Correct.
Is this a procedural thing, or is the charge that this was done in a devious manner?
Well, I don't want to speculate, but our involvement was, it was brought to our attention, and there is a process that every village, every town has to go through for DOT. The fact that he works for the DOT themselves, there's a misconduct in there, and that's where you get those charges. And I think that
you have to excuse me for being somewhat curious.
Sure, no,
considering
absolutely.
the politics that go on in Frankfurt.
And that's the thing too. We we don't get involved in politics, of course.
Right.
Our job is to
procedure.
investigate, and it did take some time to investigate. And we worked. The DOT, Department of Transportation, has an investigator assigned to the case too. So it was a multi-agency investigation, and it's now in the hands of the district attorney's office.
Politics in Frankfurt. Not even touching that one.
No,
I don't
sir.
blame you.
No, sir.
Stay right clear of that. All right, good stuff. Trooper Jack Keeler, I appreciate it. Anything else you want to add? Obviously, this Amber Alert.
Yes.
The advances in technology have really made this a great program, even more so than it ever was.
Absolutely, and I just want to thank the public too, because as much as that could be disrupting, I think the law enforcement agencies, kudos to the Frankfurt Police Department, the FBI, and our agency with the help, with I think the tips and those who are paying attention. It goes to see when children are being sought after, everybody pitches in.
It's always nice when you have a positive outcome.
Absolutely, this is the best we can do. You know?
Yeah. Good stuff. Trooper Jack Keeler, thanks. Quick break. News with Christine coming up next on WIBX.